Join me. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us augment. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. That's great. Just a little bit of housekeeping items. First of all those people that have cell phones, which is all of you, can you put them on silent, please? Excellent. I appreciate that. A few other things to draw to your attention. If you notice the table there, we have a silent auction. So there's actually items up for bid. It is a fundraiser in some ways here tonight. So you can go there and bid on an item and possibly take it home. And the funds will go to an EDA here in Saskatoon that will be used to help defeat Justin Trudeau. And you know what? You want to know something else? There's actually a little glass case over there too. If you got some spare change, anything under $20, you can just drop it off in there. And that helps pay for tonight's event and some of the other costs that we have here tonight. So we'd appreciate that. Now, first, I'm going to introduce Michael Amon. Michael's the head of the U of S Campus Club, and he's just done a tremendous job. We had some 100 students in here today to listen to Andrew, so we're very excited. So Michael, please come forward.
Well, thanks for that introduction, Randy. So, as you heard, my name is Michael Amon, and I'm the president of the University of Saskatchewan Campus Conservatives. Now, I'm so lucky to have a great team behind me. So I'd like to give a couple shout outs to Ty, Caitlin, Kinga, Travis, Jared, and so many more. Together, we were able to host a tremendous youth meet and greet with Andrew here just a few hours ago, at which we saw over 60 young, enthusiastic conservatives come out to meet Andrew. It's so great seeing young conservatives involved in politics, because we're the future of the party and we're the future of Canada. A Canada without a carbon tax and a Canada without Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister. Now, speaking of the future, we have some conservative MPs in and around Saskatoon, but there's still one seat that we need to win, the one that we're in right now. Luckily, we have a great candidate here in Saskatoon West. So Brad Redekop has lived in the Saskatoon area for over 35 years. In his past, he got a degree in commerce from the University of Saskatchewan, and he spent 20 years working in the manufacturing industry in corporate finance. For the past 10 years, he's operated his own home building business, and in addition to that, he's a leader in this community. He spent 10 years as the chair of The Bridge, which provides meals, shelter, and hope to vulnerable people here in Saskatoon. During his time as chair, he spearheaded the renovation and expansion of their facility during a time of unprecedented growth. In addition to that, he's volunteered with organizations like Ride for Refuge and Saskatoon's Housing First Committee. Please help me in introducing Brad Redekop, the next Conservative MP for Saskatoon and my personal friend.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, and let's give another round of applause for all the young people that are here from the Campus Club tonight. Thanks, guys. And thanks to each of you for coming out tonight. I know it's actually a balmy night tonight, isn't it? So it's a beautiful night to be out on a date night. This is great. It is my honor to be the Conservative candidate for the riding in Saskatoon West. I've had the opportunity to our team has knocked on over 3,000 doors already, so we've talked to a lot of people. And one of the things that nearly everyone expresses to us is that we need a change in government. The hard-working people of our city deserve better, and a new Conservative government will do better. One of the most common questions that I'm asked is, why am I doing this? Now, this often comes from friends and family, and really what they're asking me is, why on God's green earth would you get into this thing? You know, they're kind of asking me that question. And, you know, it is a good question. And I have several reasons why. But the most important one is this. It's for my kids. We've raised 2 young boys. They're in their early 20s now, so I guess they're not boys anymore. They're young men. And they're in school, finishing up their school. They'll soon be joining the workforce. And I'm sure pretty soon they'll be talking marriage, and kids will probably enter the scene. No rush, guys, no rush. But it's concerning to me how much our country has changed in just 3 short years of Liberal government. And I'm deeply concerned that my kids will not have the kind of Canada that I had, where they can dream and where they can have ambitions and where they can get ahead in life. And so rather than sit on the sidelines, I decided to get myself out there. I want a seat at the table so that I can do my part to making Canada a better place for all of us. So our team is working very hard, and our full intention is to win the Saskatoon West riding for the Conservatives this October. Thank you. And we're going to paint the whole city blue again. Now, Andrew Scheer has been an MP since 2004. He became the youngest Speaker of the House in Canada's history. He was chosen as the leader of our party just about 2 years ago. But I'm sure if you asked him, he would probably tell you that his greatest pride and joy is his family, his wife Jill and their 5 active kids. Now, before I bring out the leader, I need to make sure that we have the right crowd here tonight. So I've created some skill testing questions. Now these questions, the answer is either yes or no, so very simple. But I need to know that you guys are the right crowd here tonight. So I need you to shout back the answers to me when asked these questions. And if you're in the back, you're going to have to yell really loud so that I can hear you, okay? All right? So let's start with the first one. I'll give you an easy one. Do you want 4 more years of Liberal government? No! Okay. Do you want to see more common sense government? Yes! Good. Do you want disorderly open borders? No! Do you want an immigration system that is fair, orderly, and compassionate? Yes! Do you want to build new pipelines? Yes! Do you want a carbon tax? No! Ladies and gentlemen, this leads me right back to the reason why I'm here today. We need a new direction from our government. A direction that's built on the foundations that made this country as great as it is. I want to see a Canada where no dream is out of reach, no ambition is too big, and where our children can get ahead and not just get by. Do you want a better country for your children? Yes. Do you want a better country for your children's children? Yes. Folks, there's only one party that can clean up the mess that this Liberal government has made. And our leader is up for the challenge, and he's ready to get to work. So ladies and gentlemen, from Regina Coppell, put your hands together for the leader of the Conservative Party, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Andrew Scheer.
Such a thrill for me to be here in Saskatoon. I got back home to Saskatchewan just the other night, flew in from Atlantic, Canada. We left about about 2 feet of snow in Halifax to minus 40 degrees here in Saskatchewan. And I've learned one thing. Doesn't matter if someone says it's a dry cold, it's just really, really cold. But I love being back home. It's like getting off that plane, seeing familiar friends and familiar faces and friends. It's like recharging my batteries. Our family loves it to be back home with cousins and friends. And I thought to myself as I was getting off the plane this trip, I thought, you know what? I think it's time that Saskatchewan had another prime minister of this great country. So we can take some of these wonderful values here in Saskatchewan, the hard work ethic, the entrepreneurial spirit, the understanding of what it takes to create opportunities and prosperity, and make sure that that message is spread all across the country. And that's exactly what I've been doing with my colleagues all across the country, in every region of Canada. And we've got a lot going for us right now as a Conservative Party in this country. You know, I don't know if you've heard this, but sometimes people say, I smile too much. Have you ever heard that feedback? I get it sometimes. But it's hard not to smile these days when you see the optimism. Yeah. We can. I was talking more about our party and all the things we've been doing. We can get to that in a minute. But it's hard not to smile when you see how our party has come together after the 2015 election, how we very quickly united around some core principles. We had a very robust leadership race. We saw our party membership grow to record numbers, over 200,000 members of the Conservative Party at the height of that leadership race. And after that was decided, the team rallying around me, our convention in Halifax, attracting candidates all across the country. It's hard not to smile when you see all that coming together so well. It's hard not to smile when you win by-elections in parts of the country that we haven't won in 20 years. It's hard not to smile when you see people joining our party, putting their careers on hold and willing to run for the Conservative Party of Canada, carrying our banner into the next election, and knowing that we're going to win seats in every region in this wonderful country. It's hard not to smile when you see that kind of momentum growing. And it's hard not to smile where every single day in the House of Commons we are winning on the issues, we are winning the debates, we're winning the arguments, because when we ask Justin Trudeau the tough questions, he can't even answer them. He can't even answer them. Nothing to say. But that's how things are for the political party. That's how it is for the Conservative movement. But we know that there are a lot of people in Canada that have less reasons to smile after Justin Trudeau won in 2015. And being here, being home in Saskatchewan, nowhere is that more evident in our energy sector. Yeah. The damage that Justin Trudeau has done to our energy sector is truly shameful. And I want to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Canada doesn't need a prime minister that goes around the world and talks down our energy sector. We don't need a prime minister that goes to international conferences at fancy places in Europe, meeting with rich celebrities from all over the world, we don't need a prime minister that does that and then tells them that he's working to phase out our energy sector. Canada deserves a prime minister that is proud of our energy sector, that will stand up for the hardworking men and women and believes in this for our country. Canadians deserve a prime minister that understands how that benefits all of Canada, how every region in this country benefits when our energy sector, our natural resource sector is doing well. Obviously, extraction jobs here in the West. Manufacturing jobs linked to the production and the heavy equipment out of Ontario. Refinery jobs in Eastern Canada. And that's why a Conservative Party will be proud to champion a west to east pipeline that displaces foreign oil and gets our economy off of imports from other countries. I've never understood this. You know, I have a lot of time for people who want to air their concerns, who believe that when we're looking at how best to build big things in this country, that we make sure they're done in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. I believe that that is absolutely essential. We all, as Conservatives, we believe in that. We want to pass on a better environment to our children than we inherited ourselves. And so we will work with those, and we believe, and they're part of our movement, making sure that all these projects are built to those very high specifications to make sure that we are very responsible with our environment. But we also know that there are a lot of groups that aren't trying to find solutions to these challenges. They're just trying to get to a no. They're just trying to block important projects because they fundamentally have a different viewpoint about the benefits that Canada gets from our natural resource sector. But it's always really puzzled me because, you know, I see often people chaining themselves to trees and lying down in front of bulldozers, trying to block Canadian energy from being exported to the rest of the world. Canadian energy that's extracted at the very highest environmental standards, with the very toughest and most protective labor laws, ensuring that Canadian workers are treated fairly, where the benefits of that extraction, that economic activity, benefits the entire country. It benefits public sector pension plans. It benefits the Canadian pension plan. It benefits all the people who have jobs and all the people saving for their retirements. We all benefit from all of that together. And yet people want to blockade that. And they want less Canadian energy being exported to the world. But I don't see them on the east coast of Canada. I don't see them lying up and down the St. Lawrence, blockading tanker after tanker of foreign oil coming into Canada's markets. And that's why I'm so excited to share my positive vision of a big nation-building project, linking our country together, and finally making Canada self-sufficient when it comes to energy so we don't have to import oil and gas from other countries. And we know that the best way to transport that energy, the most environmentally friendly way, taking oil and gas off of rail cars, is to build pipelines, ladies and gentlemen. Now, some people ask me, how are you going to get pipelines built? You know, after all the damage that Justin Trudeau has done, how is your government going to get pipelines built? My first answer back is, well, there was a time, not so long ago, where governments didn't have to build pipelines because the private sector did it with private sector money. We don't need a government that buys pipelines and then has no plan to build them. We need a government that has a plan to get them built through the private sector by providing certainty and clarity in an approvals process. And that's what my plan will do. It'll stand up for federal jurisdiction, declare these types of projects in the national interest, ensure that Indigenous consultations are done properly on the front end, not constantly subject to court battles on the back end. And it'll make sure that Canadians have this conversation and have these debates amongst yourselves. My plan also includes eliminating foreign-funded groups from blockading and clogging up our approvals process just designed to get to a no. And Canadians are paying for all of Justin Trudeau's mistakes on the energy file. We're paying for his mistakes with the lost jobs and the devastating news out of Saskatchewan and Alberta, quarter after quarter, when we see so many jobs lost because of his policies. We're paying for his mistakes when it comes to using taxpayers' money to buy a pipeline that he can't get built. And we found out just 2 weeks ago that he actually overpaid for the Trans Mountain pipeline. How on earth do you overpay for something that a company was desperate to sell? I can't understand it. You know, here was a group of project proponents who had lost confidence thanks to his policies in Canada's energy sector, and they were pulling out. They wanted to get out. They wanted to dump and run, get rid of this pipeline that they can't build here, and take that their workers and put them to work in other countries building pipelines. And Justin Trudeau sat down across the table from them and negotiated a buying price that was greater than the sticker price. You know, it's no wonder that we got such a bad deal at the NAFTA table with Donald Trump, given the fact that that's how he handled those negotiations. Overpaying for that pipeline. I mean, I have no doubt that we're going to file some access to information requests. We're going to find out that he probably fell for buying the extended warranty, too, on it. Canadians are tired for paying for his mistakes when it comes to the out-of-control spending. These massive deficits, never-ending, permanent deficits. Remember, this was the year that the budget was supposed to be balanced. 2019. Sorry, it wasn't the year the budget was going to be balanced. It was the year the budget was going to balance itself. It was going to do that all on its own. And yet when we ask questions about, can they give us a date? Can they give us a, you know, even narrow it down to a decade that the budget might be balanced, they can't do that. And Conservatives know that we have to get our country back to balanced budgets. Not just because we like to see black ink on the ledger books or because we want to get nice write-ups in the Financial Post, but because we know that deficits today mean higher taxes. It means that our borrowing costs go up and that Canadians will face a higher tax load just to pay the interest payments on that debt. That's why Conservatives believe in balanced budgets, fiscal responsibilities, so we can stop borrowing money from future generations of Canadians, live within our means so we can go back to lowering taxes and growing a strong and dynamic economy. Now, during my swing through Atlantic Canada, I had the pleasure of meeting the new Prime Minister of New Brunswick, Blaine Higgs. And Blaine Higgs is actually coming to Moosomin tomorrow. He's going to be there to support the energy rally that's going through Moosomin, Saskatchewan. I'm very honored to be able to host him in Saskatchewan. And I know Premier Moe will be there, and I just got to tell you, it is so rewarding to be a member of Parliament from Saskatchewan, knowing that just a few years ago, we didn't have so many allies fighting against the carbon tax in this country. Our government here in Saskatchewan, the Federal Conservative Caucus, we were working together to fight against the carbon tax. And in a few short years, we've got new allies. We've got more people joining against the carbon tax, provincial premiers. We've got Brian Pallister in Manitoba now. Soon we'll have Jason Kenney in Alberta. Obviously, Premier Ford in Ontario has joined the cause as well. And the new Premier of New Brunswick has taken a strong stand against the carbon tax. And this is shaping up to be a critical point in the election. This is going to be one of those elections where we can choose as a country whether or not we want to bring in a new tax that just punishes commuters, punishes families, hardworking entrepreneurs, and small businesses. Or do we want to elect a government that will scrap the carbon tax? And my commitment to you tonight is a Conservative government led by me in October of this year. Job number one will be introducing legislation called an act to repeal the carbon tax. That's our first bill that we put forward. Because we know a carbon tax doesn't do anything to reduce emissions. All it does is punish families, raising the cost of everything. We know it's going to raise the cost of gasoline. It's going to raise the cost of home heating. You know, there's an most months in Canada, my furnace kicks in. I remember my parents were out visiting me one summer in August, and It was an August night, and my dad said, "What's that humming sound I hear?" I was like, "Oh, it's the furnace kicking in." In a late August evening. We live in a country where we have to transport things from other parts of North America, other parts of the world. Canadians don't want to pay higher grocery bills. They want to pay higher costs for consumer goods. And they don't believe that a carbon tax is fair when the way the Liberals have structured it is that it gives a massive exemption to large emitters. So large emitters in this country will receive a huge exemption. Hardworking commuters will bear the brunt. Conservatives will reject that. Conservatives will bring in a plan that incentivizes energy efficiency, that rewards those who reduce their emissions, not bringing in a new tax, and will take credit for the things that Canada does well. It doesn't make any sense to help reduce global emissions, to bring in a tax, drive up the cost of investing in Canada, chase those jobs and investment away, only to see those factories pop up in countries like China and India that don't have the access to our clean technology and our clean electricity. Canada can do more to lower global emissions by doing more of the things we do well here, and that will be part of the Conservative plan to help our environment. We see this government out of touch on so many files. We know that their plan they are working on a plan right now to once again demonize and attack law-abiding firearms owners. We've seen this before. They're bringing in a backdoor registry, and they're proposing a ban on certain types of firearms. That's lazy government, ladies and gentlemen. It's easy. It's easy to ask law-abiding farmers and hunters to follow more laws. They'll follow any law you ask them to because they believe in following the rules. But I've never once heard of an example of a drug dealer who's traveling from one part of the city to another to commit a dangerous crime to stop and call the RCMP and make sure that he has the proper paperwork for his illegally smuggled firearm. Never once heard of that example. So our Conservative plan that we've already outlined will go after the real criminals. It will put gang members and repeat and dangerous offenders behind bars longer, keeping them off the streets for longer periods of time, giving our police officers better tools to get prosecutions for gang-related activity, and go after the illegally smuggled firearms that are actually causing the problems in our cities and in our communities. That's a real plan for public safety. That's what the Conservative Party will deliver this year in October. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to take this positive Conservative message that we've already been laying out for the people of this country, from coast to coast. We see time and time again, people are already ready for a change. This first-term Liberal government needs to be a last-term Liberal government. When I was first elected leader of this great party, I picked up right away. We were traveling across the country, and a lot of times people would stop me, they'd recognize me, and they'd wave, and they'd say, "Hey, Andrew, good luck. We're rooting for you." Well, that's changed a little bit in the last couple years. Now when people see me, they stop me, they dig into my arms, dig their fingers into my flesh, say, "Andrew, you just have to win in October. We can't afford another 4 years of this guy." So I'm asking you tonight, there's a lot, this is a great turnout, great to see so many people here. I know people have driven in from Yorkton, from Regina, from northern Saskatchewan, people here from Meadow Lake. It's great to see so many people come together for this. We've got some great candidates in the room tonight. Obviously, your Saskatoon area candidates, but we've got people from all across the province ready to run for this for the Conservative Party this election. And I'm asking you to work really hard. We can win these seats back in Saskatoon. We will win these seats back in Saskatoon. We're going to win them back in Regina. We're going to win them back in northern Saskatchewan because the people of this province have realized that Justin Trudeau hasn't just forgotten about Western Canada, but he's actually attacked Western Canada. And a Conservative government will undo that damage. So, my ask for you tonight, get involved, help out. Help these candidates win these seats in Saskatchewan. We're going to win them here. We're going to win them in other provinces. We're going to put together a winning coalition, winning seats back in every part of this country. And all of us working together on campaigns from coast to coast in every province and every territory. You know, we have a few extra challenges as Conservatives in this country. We don't have all the breaks that the other guys get sometimes. We don't have the third-party groups that come out and pay people to knock doors against our candidates. We don't always get the same breaks in the way issues are covered in this country. You might have noticed. But we do have one thing going for us. We have a lot of things going for us, actually. We have a great vision. We have great policies that are proven to work, that are proven to make life better in this country. And our policies are all speaking about the issue to help people get ahead in this country and not just get by. Making life more affordable, make it easier to save, to live out your dreams as a Canadian. A government that recognizes that money left in your own pocket goes much further than when it's taken to Ottawa, taxed, spent on administration, redistributed, and reallocated. That our economy always grows better when you have a government that sets the condition for success instead of trying to pick winners and losers. That's the positive Conservative vision that I know is going to resonate all across the country. So we have a great vision, we've got great policies, we've got great members of Parliament with stellar track records holding this government to account and fighting for the things that we know will make life better for Canadians. And we have all of you. We have all of the hardworking activists in this party who have helped us win before and will help us win again. And all of us working together in every riding, in every province, we can and we will make sure that Justin Trudeau is a one-term Prime Minister. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks so much for being out here today. Great. Thank you. All right. So now you're back. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andrew, so much. And thank you, Saskatoon, for coming out today. I've been told this is the largest political rally in 4 years in Saskatoon. Round of applause. Deep down, as a candidate, as a father, and more importantly to my two young boys, we need to win this election, people. This is so important to stop the damage of Justin Trudeau. Everyone in this room knows that. In the next coming months, we need you out knocking doors, raising dollars, talking to neighbors to make sure that Justin Trudeau is a one-term Prime Minister. And we can help tonight. We have some silent auction items on the side. Take a look. There's some great deals to be had out there. If you are so inclined, we do also have a donation table in the back. Elections are expensive to run. We know the NDP and the Liberals are going to be well funded. We have to match those funds, and I plead with you, please, make sure that we are able to spend dollar for dollar for in the next campaign. So with that, Andrew's going to stick around for a little bit for pictures. We need to get him down to Regina for Mooseman tomorrow. But one last round of applause for Andrew Scheer.